What's going on? Let me make sure this thing is public real quick before I even get started on the topic. All right. Falcons got an ugly win. Very ugly win. We won 21-14 against arguably one of the worst teams in the league in the Jaguars. But the Falcons tried to make it a Falcon game, as usual. Had a 21-3 lead. We saw the Jaguars start to make it a ball game towards the end, but the defense made a stand and won the ball game. Before I even go into anything else, I just want to go ahead and say that the defense, as rough as the defense has been in spurts this season, I've seen some positive signs too. At the end of the day, I want to go ahead and shout out Darren Hall. He was one of our rookies that we drafted. He actually played that last drive very well. Actually, last two drives. He played the slot pretty well. I know it's supposed to be Kendall Sheffield's spot, but of course he's been out probably all season long. So Darren Hall, he actually played pretty well in that slot. I got to give him his props on that because he broke up a couple of passes on that last drive to definitely hold us on, make sure we held on to that win. But I will say that at the end of the day, it was an ugly win. They improved to 5-6, but it's one of them games where it's like we won despite how bad we are, but at the end of the day, we did enough to win the ball game. Like we led 21-3, we got out to a hot start, and then we just fizzled out for a moment. Even going as far as Matt Ryan, let me go ahead and put this out here. I'm a huge Matt Ryan guy. Everybody knows this. I'm a big Matt Ryan fan. Always have been. But today was showing signs. He has not played well the last couple of weeks, just to be honest. But today was honestly him showing this former shell of himself. He missed a couple of easy throws in this game. He missed a couple. He actually had one or two very, very boneheaded moments in this game where he took a couple of sacks in this game. Matt is no longer this guy that we once had 3-4 years ago. We do need to start looking for his predecessor. Looking for his replacement at some point in the near future because he is no longer the guy that we once had. He's not the full issue of the team, but he's not helping the issues either. Because at the end of the day, let me go to the comments real quick. Let me bring this up. Byron, what's up, bro? He said that Cordero Patterson is a monster. Cordero Patterson won us this ball game. We don't win this ball game without Cordero Patterson. You saw the difference in this game with him being in the game. He scored 2 touchdowns by himself. The man had 100 yards rushing. That's his second time in his career running for 100 yards. If there's anybody on the Atlanta Falcons this season that needs to be re-signed, it is Cordero Patterson because he is clearly the best player on the team this season. It's not even close. Cordero Patterson needs to be a Falcon in 2022. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. He should absolutely be in an Atlanta Falcon uniform. I hate that he's 30 years old, unfortunately. But for the guy that he is at this stage of his career, he's not the guy he's not your go-to guy, but he's definitely productive enough to win you ball games. Let me go to the next comments. Ronnie, what's up, bro? What's going on, man? Appreciate you tuning in. He asked, what are the Atlanta Falcons' chances to the postseason? The Falcons are very, very well in the postseason race. As crazy as it sounds, and as bad as this squad, most of us would probably agree this is not a really good squad. However, with the additional NFC wild card, with the additional NFC wild card slot and the 17 games, the Falcons are very, very close, are in good range because their next couple of games, we got the Bucs here next week. The Bucs probably going to be, I don't see us winning that ball game. Honestly speaking, I hate to say, I don't want to call L's before it happens, but I don't see us winning that ball game. But the Falcons have an opportunity to make some noise if they are going to make the postseason over the next couple of weeks. They got the Bucs here in Atlanta. They go to Carolina the following week. They go to San Francisco that following week. Then they got the Lions and Saints at home. They got the Bills in between that Lions and Saints game. So the Falcons talent, to me, they have 2 games on their schedule, which is next week and week 17 against the Bills that I just do not see us having a shot in. But the other games are winnable if the Falcons show up and do what they have to do to win the ball game. That's the biggest thing for the Falcons. The Falcons have competed, but at the end of the day, that offense has to be better. Even though we scored 21 today, we could have scored way more than we did. Let me go to the comments. Myron, what's up, bro? Preach. If they would be dumb to let him go because at this point, you don't have a running back, honestly, on this team right now. Mike Davis was an absolute bust. Gallman gets a rep here and there. I don't even know why they didn't give Quadri Allison, who had a decent drive, couple good runs here and there in the New England game, any type of reps in this game. So you gotta give guys an opportunity. And I think Cordero Patterson is not only your best wide receiver, he's your best wide receiver. Because with Calvin Ridley on the mental health break, you don't have a true number one or number two receiver. To be honest with you guys, the Falcons don't have any receivers, if we're going to be real about the team, minus a Calvin Ridley. And the problem with this this is probably the least talented group of receivers I've ever seen in the Falcons uniform, especially in the Matt Ryan era. Matt Ryan's always had a decent receiver here and there. This is probably the worst because there are several times in the game. Don't get me wrong, Matt Ryan is not perfect. He has caused a lot of things on his own in certain games where he take a sack and the line is not holding up. But the biggest thing is this right here. We don't have receivers that can get separation. Zacchaeus is a slot guy. Russell Gage is a slot guy. Tajay Sharp is not getting you separation. You got a lot of guys on your team who are truly not getting they're not getting open. You don't have a lot of people that's going to get open on routes on this team. And Kyle Pitts, let me get on this Kyle Pitts topic right here. I said it on my draft show back in April. I don't have anything against Kyle Pitts. But if you were going to take a Kyle Pitts, you better have a game plan to get him involved in this season. They have not done that at all. Kyle Pitts has been pretty much inactive towards as far as getting open in a lot of these games. And when he does get his opportunities, either Matt missed 2 times in this ball game where the drive before they cut it to 7, we had an opportunity to go up at least by 13 and extend that drive. Matt missed him completely. He didn't get a reception to the third quarter. You said you spent the 4th overall pick on a generational, once in a generation tight end. I'm not taking anything away from Kyle Pitts' game. I think Kyle Pitts will be a better player in Atlanta once we have more talent around him. But because he is the only true threat on your offense outside of Cordero Patterson, you're not going to get open. You're basically, if I'm a defensive coordinator, I'm going to double team every time you get on the field. I'm going to take him out the game. Matt Ryan's got to beat me with Zacchaeus or Russell Gage or Tajay Sharp or whoever else is in the receiving core that's not even getting reps. So it's a talent deficiency. And also, Arthur Smith still shows signs that he doesn't know what he's doing. So that's the biggest thing for us. It is absolutely ridiculous that Cordero Patterson went down in the first quarter of the Dallas game and we didn't score a touchdown until today. We went 17 days without scoring a touchdown. Plain and simple. That's nothing that you can really hold your head on. Let's go back to the comments. Myron said he's 30, but I don't think he has a lot of mileage. No, I don't, because a lot of teams have not really known how to use Cordero Patterson. To me, this is the first time I'm actually seeing him get active in the offense. Not even New England really used him like that. I'm surprised by that. Ronnie said that we need New Orleans and Carolina to lose a few games ahead. Carolina's actually getting smacked right now by the Dolphins, which I did not see coming. I had Carolina winning today. They actually look bad today. Cam Newton, I don't know if you guys have seen the stat line. Cam Newton had a passer rating of 6, which I'm giving Matt a hard time today because of what he did. But goodness, Cam Newton's had probably the worst day in the league today. But New Orleans is decimated with injuries on top of the fact they don't have a quarterback. So the Falcons could potentially find themselves jumping both You already have a dub against the Saints. You got the Panthers in 2 weeks. You got to have those 2 games if you want an opportunity to make the postseason because you're 5-6. So the Falcons have an opportunity on their hands. They got the Panthers in 2 weeks in Carolina. You got the Bucs at home. If you can somehow upset Tampa next week, then you set yourself even further up the board for a wild card spot. Because to be honest with you, it's going to be a bad team that's going to make the playoffs no matter what in the NFC. Because the Rams are 7-3 and they're a wild card team. The 49ers are 5-5. The Vikings are 5-5. They're going to play each other in about the next 30 minutes. Whoever wins that game is over 500. The other one is 5-6. Now you throw yourself in the race with the Falcons and the Saints and those other teams. So somebody that's not that good is going to get into the postseason. You still got teams with an outside shot like a Seattle who's just getting back Russell Wilson. You know, those teams, it's so up in the air. John, what's going on, bro? Said Patterson strikes again, folks. The Birds really missed him. He needs to be re-signed off season. Yes, he does. He needs to be priority number 1 to resign this offseason because that is your go-to guy, and he should be a Pro Bowler also. If he's never been to a Pro Bowl before, he needs to go this year because he absolutely deserves it. He's earned it. JD with an interesting statement. He said, I wish we could have kept Julio. It is what it is. I won't put it like this. Talent-wise, I'll always appreciate what Julio did in Atlanta. But if you don't want to be a Falcon, I don't want you to be in Atlanta either. It's a business. It is what it is. I'm not even going to sit there and knock him for his choice. But at the end of the day, he hasn't played 3 games in a Titan uniform yet. So, I mean, he should have hung it out here. So it's like, yeah, he would have. If we have a Julio Jones, this is probably a little better of a season than it is, but it's remarkable. We're 5-6 with no Julio, no Ridley. It's just a crazy situation for the Falcons. Byron said, thank God we got Mac Jones. Oh, yeah. Mac, I got to say, since you're on the stream, New England was very impressive that game against us last week here in Atlanta. That team is going to quietly give some problems to him. You know, that's the thing. Hold on. That's the thing. Mac Jones is actually starting to get better in that uniform. JD said that it wasn't Julio's choice, Atlanta Falcons. I don't feel that it was Julio's choice, but at the end of the day, when you go on Undisputed and make the interview that you have with Shannon Sharp, you essentially wrote yourself up out of here. On top of the fact, I'm sure you heard the comments about he didn't want us to play no more once Dan Quinn got fired. So it was, if you don't want to be here, I don't want you here. So that's really how I stand with Julio. Tevin, what's up, bro? He said we almost Falcon that we need some wide receivers. Yes, we do. We have really got to overhaul this receiving core this offseason. It got to happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And that's the crazy thing for us. Like, we don't have any talent there. We used to at one point have plenty of talent at receiver. We don't have it no more. Jordan, what's up, bro? Said time to go quarterback in the next draft. They got to come away with a quarterback in this draft. I'm not saying that we need a quarterback to start next year, but Matt Ryan cannot be the only quarterback on the roster that is not a draft pick in 2022 or 23. To be honest with you guys, anybody that think that we need to go quarterback first round has not watched this season. I don't care what Matt Ryan has done on that field. There is not one quarterback in this year's draft class that is worthy of a first-round pick. Matt Corral is not a first-round pick to me. Malik Willis, I like him, but I'm not going to spend a first-round pick when the Falcons are talent deficient in many other ways. I'm not going to put a first-round pick on no quarterback. I can take a quarterback in day 2, but day 1, no. You got a lot of needs, and you need to get you the next either pass rusher. You can possibly go look at a receiver. I know a lot of folks would not agree with going receiver, but at this point, what can you shy away from? There's not one specific need on the Falcons. You have multiple needs that the Falcons have to address. So This isn't one of them situations where you can say, okay, the Falcons need to go get this and this will make them. We're not a quarterback away from being a postseason team. We're not a running back away. We're not a receiver away. We're not a pass rush away. We have problems on all sides of the ball to where the Falcons do not need to spend it on just one quarterback. Because to me, that would be really a big issue for us. So I agree. They got to take a quarterback in this draft, just definitely not the first round. JD said we have to get a decent defense, turnovers and stats. We need a couple running backs. Matt Ryan's a veteran who needs to take control of this offense. Arthur Smith have to know how to control the game. Arthur Smith, to me, is still in over his head. He's still in over his head right now. And I'm going to be honest. I've given the defense a lot of heat in the last couple weeks. But the defense, I think the defense will be a lot better if we had a better group up front, not named Grady Jarrett. We don't get pressure up front. We don't get a lot of. There's really no pressure from the front four. Dante Fowler had a little pressure today, but it's not consistent. It's not a consistent where, okay, you can let your secondary play their guys and then your defensive line tees off. They don't have that. So the Falcons definitely have to get their defense, especially up front, intact. Let's go to the next comments. Tevin said, guess who benched Patterson? Because I didn't think – no, I knew that Cordero Patterson was going to have a decent game. I didn't think he was going to have that good of a game coming back. But I felt like he's such a big part of our offense that there's no way they could have shot away from having him on the field. Let's see. We already discussed that, my bad. If New England wins the Super Bowl, Bill Challenge, yes, he is, because to totally go from losing Tom Brady to what you're seeing put together in New England right now would just be remarkable. It would be no way to not credit Bill Belichick for what he's doing. Let's see. I said it before, the quarterback class is very bad. Bo Nix is the best quarterback, and Bo Nix is not that good. I'm not a fan of Bo Nix at all. The Falcons have way more needs than things that they can solve in this offseason. But one thing I do want to go to, I do it every time I go to the stat line. Let me go to the stats for this game so we can just kind of go take a look at where how today played out. Give me 1 second. I'm about to pull it up. Falcons, Jaguars. I'm not sure which game. If it's a close game going on, you guys let me know, because like I said, I'm in here getting this together, so I'll never get a chance to pay attention to it until after the stream is over. I missed a lot of good games like that. Let me go back to the comments. I'm not a fan of Knicks either. Man, I'll say this though. Just to squeeze over the college for a second. If Bo Nix plays yesterday, they beat Alabama. I will go ahead and put that out there. They had no business losing the Alabama game. I know you don't really want to talk about it, JD, but they had no business losing the Alabama game. But again, that's like you said, this quarterback class is bad on so many levels. All right, here we go. We're going to share the screen. Let's get ready to – I'm going to take myself off the screen. Okay, let's go down to the stat line. Let's go to the box score. Matt Ryan had 190 yards passing, a touchdown and a pick. He got sacked one time in this game. Cordero Patterson with 108 yards rushing. Side note, I do not know if you guys heard that during the game. If you didn't get a chance to tune into the game, this was the first time that the Falcons have had a 100-yard rusher in 22 games, which is the second longest in the league. And that is a lot. That's a long time, very long time to go without having a rush. Anybody over 100 yards is not good. Okay, let's look at the rest of the stat line. James Robinson had 17 for 86 for the Jaguars. Russell Gage led the team in receiving with 6 for 62 and a touchdown. Cordero had 2 for 27. Kyle Pitts had 2 for 26. Not a lot of production in the receiving total today for really either team. Actually, Trevor Lawrence had more receiving yards on his end than Matt Ryan had on his end. Let's go back to it. Let me pause this to ski. Also, for the tackling leaders, Michael Walker led the team in tackles. Let me say this. Michael Walker has not had a lot of reps on this team, and that's something that has to change for the Falcons. Michael Walker was coming on at the end of 2020 under Raheem Morris, and I don't feel like they've been using him more as much as they should. This is one of the biggest things that the Falcons have not done a good job of this season. To me, the Falcons have not utilized their young talent the way they should. That's not a good look for them, because if you're the Falcons, you need to be getting, to me, when you look at our draft picks, Adonijah, as you probably saw on the box score a few minutes ago, he was the second leader in tackles. You don't draft guys like him and Taquan Graham and Richie Grant and don't use those guys. You got to start using your guys. You don't waste the draft. This is a team that don't have a lot of talent. You don't know what you have sitting on the bench. Develop your talent. But the Falcons struggle to do that. They just go out here and throw guys out here. It's just like, we don't have a lot of talent. We're going to just put these guys here. No, I don't care if they're veterans or not. If you have young guys, you don't know what you could get. One of the guys, just to mention Anthony Rush, who's had several couple of decent plays throughout this season. In the Saints game, he had a big strip fumble. He had one today for the Falcons. You got to give those guys, James Vardas, you got to give him an opportunity. You cannot continue to stick with Tyler Davidson because you're paying him a lot of money. You can't stick with guys like, like I said, Tyler Davidson and Jonathan Bullard. You can't keep using those guys if they're not productive week in and week out. Stop using those guys. They're not going to produce for you. JD said, I agree. Atlanta Falcons start using draft picks. Yes, they do. I'm going to get on to in a second. Rex, what's going on, little bro? Appreciate you tuning in for a minute, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Your boy's off this week. JD said, you agree? Yeah, because we have put all this. First of all, we didn't draft a running back, which JD has been talking about with me on this stream every single show that we've done. We've been screaming about not taking a running back in this draft at all. Then you pick up a running back in JV and Hawkins and don't even use them. You cut them. And then you get yourself in a situation, you don't have any running backs that's really producing like that. So now you have to rely on Cordero Patterson to be your everything, your receiver, your running back. Heck, might even throw him in at quarterback. Who knows? He's your do-it-all guy. He basically has a high school role in the NFL roster. Not taking anything away from what he's doing, but he's basically a high school hybrid player in the NFL roster here in Atlanta. That's what it's basically doing. So, again, the Falcons, you got to utilize your draft picks, because if you keep putting out Jalen Mayfield week in and week out, these other guys need to get reps. And let me also mention this. The Falcons are going to have to, and it's so sad because they just spent draft picks on these two positions that I'm going to name off. If the Falcons are not going to have a legit option at center and left guard, you better go to free agency and get two of them. I don't care if you got to roll with a veteran for a year or two. You got to go ahead and get those guys, because I've watched several times in this game. Yes, the offensive line gave a sack all game. That was it, which is stat-wise, that's good. But if you pay attention to the offensive line, most of the time, Jalen Mayfield is getting bull rushed on every time. His defensive tackle is destroying him. Left at center, Matt Hennessy looks lost most times. The Falcons did an awful job of replacing Alex Mack. You drafted him to be Alex Mack's replacement, yet he's not ready. He's in over his head. You got to put, if you're going to invest in offensive linemen, you put that on a high, you go higher in the draft. You spend money and go get that. Don't sit here and go snatch me a guy from the University of Phoenix in the 5th round that you expect to work out and he's not going to work out. Not happening. Because if you remember, the last time we went and got an offensive lineman in free agency was Alex Mack. We went to the Super Bowl. We got Chris Chester. We went and got Levitre. The Falcons went and said, we're not going to just keep hitting on the draft. We're going to get some vets in here. You cannot keep expecting these young guys to come in and produce right out the gate. They're not ready. Rob, what's going on, bro? Let me catch up to these comments. He said the Falcons take. Unfortunately, the Falcons are in a position where they can't even take right now. They're 5-6. So you have beaten teams like the Jags, the Jets, the Giants. You've beaten those teams. So you're really not going to catch up to a lot of those guys. The Lions have not won a game. You're not getting number 1 pick there, though. So that's out the window. On top of the fact, the Falcons' schedule is easy, unfortunately, for them. As bad as this roster is talent-wise, the schedule is so freaking easy. That's the crazy part about it. The Falcons have the Saints coming up at the end of the season. You got the Panthers in 2 weeks. You got the Bucks. The Bucks is one of your 2 hardest games remaining. You don't have a lot of tough games left, so the Falcons could fall into a wild card spot, and they're not really wild card worthy, which is the weird part about this team. Rob said that we need to get Kyle Hamilton from I love Kyle Hamilton, but he's going to go high. I don't think we're going to be in position to get him. I love Kyle Hamilton out of Notre Dame. JD said that Mike Davis is not the running back. No, he is not. I thought he would be a way better fit here in Atlanta, and he is, but I'm highly disappointed in what he's done. JD said, interesting thing about Cordero Patterson, I think this is the best year of his career. It is the best year of his career because he's way more active in this offense. And then the thing is he don't have that home run speed that he had 3-4 years ago, but he run every play. He's going to give you 100%, which I respect out of him 100%. Robert said, don't draft no more offensive tackles. You are absolutely right, because the last 3 offensive tackles that we've drafted, I'm not going to just say that Jake is a bad tackle. I think Jake isn't your elite tackle. He's not a Tristan Wirth or those guys that are coming out of college now. He's not the guy where, hey, I can deal with an average offensive lineman and then I'm going to hold my part. You handle your business. He's not that guy. So we got to go ahead and get us an offensive line. We got to get a stout offensive line for the future. This is not just in reference to Matt Ryan's career, because I think Matt Ryan's days are numbered in Atlanta. Well, I think he'll be here next season, but after that season, I can easily see the Falcons cutting bait. That's the truth. That's really where I feel is going to happen, unless they can find a way to magically work this contract out to where they can get out that contract sooner. I think he's here next year, but in 23 he's gone. JD also said, I would rather go to free agency to get offensive line unless they found someone dominating. Agree. I just would rather you get a balance of offensive linemen in free agency and guys in the draft. I don't think you need to just fully invest. You don't have unfortunately, the Falcons don't have the scouting eye or talent to see that, okay, these are the guys that are in place. So I don't think that the Falcons that's not a good spot for them. JD also said get those UGA offensive line. Yeah, I would love to actually get a UGA offensive lineman. To be honest with you guys, I was even thinking about, just to throw this name out here, it makes me angry every time I get on and I see David Andrews. He's the center for the New England Patriots. He's been there since 2015. Yeah, 2015. David Andrews was blocking for Todd Gurley that 2014 season at UJ. You probably remember him, JD. He was not even drafted. This Patriots got a steal. Got an absolute steal. I knew he was going to be a solid center in the NFL. They got a steal. He's been there. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ. My thing is this: if you don't have an eye for talent, you're not going to be able to win ball games in this league. And that's the biggest thing that the Falcons have had an issue with, is they don't have an eye of talent when they need to have an eye for talent in this league. But again, the Falcons got a 21 21-14 win today. They improved to 5-6. We got Tampa here next week, and that's going to be a big game. This is a big sports weekend in the city, in that stadium. Actually, we got Georgia, Alabama, which I will be back on here sometime this week. We're going to be discussing Georgia, Alabama, the keys to the game and everything. So be sure to tune in for that. And we're going to definitely do a talk about that Falcon Buccaneer game. But until then, Falcons got a close win. Hey, it's ugly, but a win is a win. But until next time, it's been All In with Nate. Y'all have a good rest of the day, and let's go get a chance to watch this Rams and Packers game.